Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video we'll be looking at another DD lock, and I think it will be the last DD lock for some time. And this is the Gerda HSS. Looks like the model is 531Z. This is a Polish padlock that is definitely a challenging pick, not the easiest one. So let's take a look what's inside. This is a 9 disc detainer lock. We can see the bitting right here, and right away we can see that this one can be or should be rear tensioned, because there is a zero cut on the last disc, and that is indeed the disc that is used for tension. This is our profile, so it's not exactly a square. There is some, let's call it wording for a lack of better word, but it's not very aggressive. So what are the interesting features of this lock? I guess for the sake of completion I will show you this plug, and it has this typical semicircular shape and a slot for the sidebar, which is nothing more, nothing less than a simple metal rod. So we have a couple of interesting things in this lock. So I think the first one I can show you, or actually we do the second one. So this is a normal disc, and as you can see it has one true and one false gate. The false gate being here and the true gate here. So this is true for every disc except for the first one, which is a bit special. I will talk about it later. The profiles of the discs that are on positions 2 up to 8 are just these rectangles, and we can see that it has a little rotational limiter in there. To demonstrate how does this limiter work, I will just place the disc inside of the plug as if it was installed there, and you can tell that normally what this does is that this little knob actually limits the disc's rotation inside of the plug. So for example, this disc is a min lift, let's call it, because at the start of the pick what you usually do is you rotate all of the discs clockwise, and this one ends up like this, and you can tell that the true gate is here, so it only needs a tiny little nudge, a tiny little rotation backwards, and this false gate does not even come into play unless you overset, of course. Yeah, I mainly wanted to show how the discs move inside of the plug, and I wanted to focus your attention on the rotational limiter, because the second thing that is interesting about this lock is something called a gated spinner. So this is actually the first disc, and right away you can tell two things, or maybe even three. First one is that it has a different profile, so it acts also like a profile disc. Second thing, it does not have false gates. It has two true gates on either side. Hello. Okay, I think that's visible enough. And the third thing is that it actually rotates freely inside of the plug. It does not have this rotational limiter, so we can spin 360 degrees, and in theory, or actually in practice, it means that you cannot tension off it. If you wanted to do a front tension, you cannot do it from the first disc, because that one rotates like 360 degrees, and that's because it does not have this rotational limiter. Okay, so in terms of picking this lock, I will definitely say that this lock does not give the best feedback when I compare it to the Anchor Lass, for example. The feedback is very subtle, unless you are at the end of the pick. I think that's true for most DD locks, but in this one I felt it like a lot, that the initial feedback is very subtle, and you should be really satisfied only with something, some placement in a gate. So just go slow, do not rotate too fast, and try to feel for any change in the rotational feedback. Again, for picking, I use this RWE tool. This time it has this rear tensioning tip. I think it's from the multi-pick RS. So that actually matches our profile quite nicely. So this is the rear tensioner, and the picking tip is here. So yeah, that's the tool I used. Again, pretty nice piece of equipment, I have to say. And for the sake of completion, these are just spacers that are between the discs, and they provide some sort of isolation between the discs. So if you turn one, the second should not really turn with it, thanks to these spacers. Alright guys, so I think that's pretty much it I wanted to say about this lock. I think we can go ahead and get it picked. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the key works. Perfect. Now let's rotate all those discs clockwise, as much clockwise as we can. That should do it. Insert our pick with the tensioner first. Make sure we are really in the back, right? Okay, now the picking tip should go inside, and yeah, we can start working. So okay, this gate wasn't rotated all the way clockwise, so I did that, and right away I can feel there's some feedback on it, and suddenly the resistance dropped a lot, so I'm in some kind of gate. Disc 7, okay, same story. Disc 6, little drop in feedback right away, so I'm in a gate. Disc 5, okay, some resistance, tail resistance. Now it dropped, so I placed it in a gate, hopefully in a true gate. Okay, that was disc 5, now disc 4, no feedback, so either it's not bound or it's right away in a true gate. Disc 3 now. Okay, some little feedback and then nothing, so I think I placed it in some kind of gate again. Disc 2, very similar story, and the spinner, well, the spinner is not really binding yet, so I guess we'll return to the back of the lock. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so again, let's start checking the discs. So this is 8. Should be good now. 7 feels good. 6 is definitely in a true gate now. 5. Okay, 5 was overset, and I think we have an open. Perfect. So you can see that the shackle indeed moved. Unfortunately, I'm not able to extract my tool like this, so I have to relock the lock, but hopefully it was visible well enough that it was indeed open. So I need to just put the shackle back, and now I can extract the tool. Okay, and now we can go ahead and cut this thing. Okay, so I think a little change of angle is needed. Alright, hopefully this will be good. And yeah. Okay. So I think I will need a key now, actually, to remove the shackle. Oh, right, there's a little hex screw in there, so I will try to undo it. Is it out yet? I don't think so. Actually, it takes a while until this goes all the way out. Right, but I got it. So we won't be needing this anymore. And there's the screw. Somehow stuck towards the bit. Okay. Now I think I can relock this. I think I can remove the key. And I'm pretty sure I can unscrew this now, since the screw is not there anymore. Yeah, I can. All right. So there goes this cap. And right away I can see our first disc, which is basically the spinner. So out you go, buddy. Discs are actually pretty thick. Here's a spacer, disc, and spacer. I'll try to pull the core out because I think it will be easier to get it then, but so far it doesn't cooperate, so I will just continue cutting it like this, which is fine by me, but it gets a bit annoying to grab especially the spacers as you are progressing deeper and deeper. Okay, but it goes actually quite nicely. I think I can remove the sidebar now. Not exactly the best tweezers for this kind of shape, but it works all right in the end. And yeah. Guess I should move this a little. Okay, I think we're almost done. Perfect, that was the last disc, and I would like to pull this out. Can I do that, please? I hope so. Okay, there it is, our plug. Alright, and there's the ball bearings. I'm not gonna remove them now, but maybe later. Okay, but basically that's our lock. Cut it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on the Gerda HSS as much as I did picking it, and I also hope we'll see each other very soon with the next video. Until then, bye.